Hello. So this is my pen collection. We're going to go through it. Okay. My fountain pen journey started in 2019 with this lovely Kaweco Perkeo with a medium nib. Oops. As you can see, that nib's got some really bad, like baby's bum / Michelin tines now. This pen I absolutely hammered, would be the best way of saying it. It kind of just got chucked about, used a lot at work. I really enjoyed this pen, and that's what made me really want to get into fountain pens, because this was a great starter pen. So yeah, I kind of just keep it now for nostalgic reasons. It does still work, but yeah, you've seen that nib. I was then gifted a Pilot Parallel. I think that was also 2019, but I'm not entirely sure. I know I have two, and I can't remember which one was gifted at the time. So I'm just going to include them here. This is the 2.4 size. It is a really fun pen to play with. It gives you some experience using calligraphy and trying something different. So another good play around pen. In 2020, I got a Lamy Studio in Aquamarine. This came with an extra fine nib. However, now I've got a, oops, it's not going to focus, 1.9 stub nib on it, which is so much fun to play with. I don't mind this section here. I don't find it too slippery. It fits quite nicely in my hand, but it is a little bit heavier of a pen. So long writing sessions don't really happen with this pen. But yeah, really like the look of this pen. One thing I will say with these Studios is the finish and the clip, it wears off, which is kind of annoying. The Jacqueline Herbin Clipper pen in Polished Rose Gold has seen better days. I also got this in 2020, and it is really starting to flake and wear. I'm glad I paid this on a discounted price, not the full price, because it's really got some wear happening with it. You can see. All those flaky bits. It is a medium nib. The nib does write well, but for a pen that is meant to be marketed kind of higher end, not great. And it also is very heavy, so you can post it, but I wouldn't. It makes it very back weighted. Then I got my first TWSBI, a Diamond 580 ALR in Prussian blue. This was on sale, and it made me giggle a little bit because it is a very similar colour to my Aquamarine, which I like. I pair these two together a lot, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, it made me giggle. I got this in a fine nib. I don't mind this grip section, it's okay. I don't really have any feelings about it. The thing that annoys me is trying to clean out this cap. I've kind of given up. It's going to be like that. So yeah, but really, really good pen. Like the fact that it's got a huge ink capacity, and love the look of it. Then in 2021, I got another Lamy Studio. This is the, what's it called? LX All Black. So that means it's also matte finished here. It has a fine nib. I love this pen. It is such a sleek looking pen, and it writes so well. Again, that is happening, which annoys me a bit, but all in all, absolutely fantastic pen. I only put black in this pen. That's just me, personal preference, but great pen. Yeah, if you wanted to get a Studio, I'd be looking at one of these this one. Just personal preference though. I think I was going through a matte finish stage because I then got the matte blue black trim vanishing point with a fine nib. This thing is absolutely fantastic and I'm so glad I have it. It's just a easy grab and go pen. I also have a blue ink that I use predominantly in this pen. So this one has a matching ink that I like. A pen that is not as great, but I got in 2021 shortly afterwards, is the MD Paper Products fountain pen. It looks really nice, like I love the aesthetic of this pen, but for the price point, I now know there is more value for your money in other pens. I do like the fact that it's got a clear feed though, and it came with a medium nib. The nib's okay, it can be a little bit scratchy. It is a bit unique because it's like a semi-bent downwards nib. But yeah, this bit feels kind of cheap. This is the only substantial feel to the pen. So every now and then I ink it up, but a little bit disappointing for the price point. In 2022, this was my first pen I got, which is back into the Kavekos. This is the Kaweco Collection AL Sport in Iguana Blue, which is so pretty. I got it with an extra fine nib, but I actually don't like extra fine nibs on these Kavekos, so I've got a double broad on this one, which is a lot of fun to play with. It is starting to show wear, so you can see the different coloration there, and then there's a bit around here too. But all in all, it is a great little pocket pen, and I really like this kind of textured finish, like matte satiny finish. I also got the Iridescent Pearl Sports. This is like the, I think it's the Skyline type. It's the one that's the acrylic-y stuff, or the plastic. So it's not metal. I got this one originally with an extra fine nib as well, but now I've got a 1.5 stub on it and I like that much better. I actually find this pen a bit too light for my liking. So I don't use it as much, but I do like it if it's got that bigger nib on it. I use it as like a titling nib and then put fun colours in it. Yeah. So this will probably be my only plastic Kaweco, which I'm okay with. Okay. At this stage, I was well into my Kaweco collecting time point. I got the AL Sport in Vibrant Violet with a medium nib, which I still have on there. I really like the medium nib on this pen. It is also having, you can see where, oops, if it focuses. It doesn't want to focus now. Yeah, you can see the change of colour where it's wearing. And then there's also some wear points on here. I really like this one. I actually really like this one without a clip, so I don't have a clip on this one. And I have started realising that while I like both of these two pens, I don't really need two of the same finish. So the only real difference on these is the nibs and the colour. So I just started keeping that in mind as I started collecting now. Alright, I got this Tools to Live By pen shortly after my Kaweco situation. Obviously this clip does not come with it, it's usually just a black, I'll see if I can get that off without scratching it. It's usually just a black pen like that, which I really like the minimalistic look of this. That was why I got it. However, this is not the original one I got at this time. This black pen, the first one I got was horrendous with the nib. The nib, and as you can see, this nib is not the nib it came with. The nib that came with these pens was terrible. Absolutely terrible. So the first pen I had, the nib was horrible. I tried helping it, but in the end, this housing bit here sheared off, and I couldn't find another bit that fit into this body, which is very frustrating. So yeah, I kind of put the pen off to the side and left it for a bit. And later on I'll come into why you now see this pen. But technically I bought a black pen in 2022 that looked like this. Yeah. Then to finish off the Old Sport collection, I decided to get the AL Sport in rose gold. And this pen is, out of all the AL Sports, I have to say this one is my favourite. It is so nice and smooth and cool feeling to the touch. I just absolutely love it. Came with a medium nib, however, I've got this little nib on it that is a hand grind, different type of a hand grind nib. It gives a really fun, like, architect characters to your writing. I think it is, I got it off AliExpress, and I think it's meant to do like Chinese characters and Japanese characters really well. I'm not very good at writing them, but I'm having so much fun with this nib on this pen. This one doesn't seem to have as much. There is a little bit, but there's nowhere near as much like color variation in this nib or in this body section. So yeah, the polished ones I do really like these. I then fell in love with the Vanishing Point again. So this is the white and black trim one. I got this one with a 1.1, or just the stub nib, I think they just call it. But this is probably another very good example of when I was in my mind going, you need to stop just buying the same pen in a different colour. I know the nibs are different and I like that fact, but these are probably my only two Vanishing Points I'm going to have, unless there's like one that's got a really crazy colour. And then I might sell one of these. But yeah, do like the Vanishing Points. In 2023, I started the year off with the Lamy Safari in Mango. So this one's a limited edition one. I actually, I don't know what I've got on there. I think that's just ink. I actually like the Lamy Safari, especially the clips, but I like this clip because it's covered, so it's all the one colour. And this has got that extra fine nib on it that was on the Studio, and this was the one that came with the 1.9 stub. I do really like the extra fine nib on this pen, and it writes really, really nicely. I actually do enjoy this pen, but this is the only Safari I'm going to have. So then I found TWSBI again, and I fell in love with the, what's this one called? Eco Tea in Royal Jade set. I have to admit my phone is not doing this green any justice at all. It's a really quite a vibrant royal, as it says, royal green with the rose gold trim. I adore this pen. I got it with a bold nib and it is so much fun to write with. So much fun to write with. And I don't mind the grip section too, because this is an Eco Tea. It's slightly different on the grip section, so yeah. Still on the TWSBI, and I got the VAX 700R in Iris. Now I kind of got this one because I watched a video where a gentleman was talking about how nice the extra fine nib was on it to write with, and I have to wholeheartedly agree. This nib is beautiful to write with. It's easy to hold this pen. It holds so much ink. I absolutely love writing with this pen. TWSBI is, yeah, fantastic. It is hard to clean out inside here, but I'm okay with that. So from a big pen to a very little pen, I then got Gobekko Lilliput. This is in the aluminum green. This green is so cute. Downside to the Lilliputs, they squeak. But great little pen. It came with a fine nib, but I've put the medium nib on it, and I actually enjoy that better. I actually find these easier to write with than the Old Sports. I'm not exactly sure why. And they're pretty light, so I'm not sure why I like that more so than the Old Sports as well. with the exception of the rose gold one. Yeah. So I went back and got another one of these Tools to Live By fountain pens. I got the white one. I also got another black one because I really liked the look of it and I wanted to get them to work. Sadly, these nibs were also terrible. I got these on a big discount, which was nice. And I don't think they really make them anymore, which is for a good reason. Realistically, the pen look is fantastic. It is just the nib. And again, I've changed this one out. This has got a Hongdian extra fine nib in it, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The problem is the housing is very hard to find to fit these pens. So, and I have to let my OCD go because this is not lining up, but it is what it is. The white pen, I like it, but it does pick up, I don't know if you're going to see it, it stains easily. So that was being in the pen case. So, and it scratches easily, so I'm not as happy about that, unfortunately. So the black one's still more my type of pen. And this one's got a Jinhao medium in it, which works really well as well. Like, they're fantastic. The other thing I have done is I have swapped some of these bodies and bits to make it look. TWSBI Kai. I fell in love with this pen when I saw it was released, and I have to admit this pen was something I got from FOMO, and this made me be much more upset when this pen was not what I expected. And in saying that, it's still a beautiful pen. The cap does come loose, which is a bit annoying, unlike all the other pens. But what happened to me and made me feel a bit hard about this is I actually ended up with a crack in here and I had to get this whole barrel changed. Now, TWSBI were good and the place I bought this through were very good about it, but it just left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. This expensive pen broke like fairly early on, within a week of having it, basically. So yeah, I'm a little bit bitter. The nib works fantastically. It is currently inked. I do like it now. I'm just a little bit hesitant to use it because I'm worried it will do it again. A pen that is worth the price point and is indestructible is this Y Studios Classic Revolve portable pen in copper. It's fantastic. It is a little bit heavy. It has a great snapping clip, or cap, I should say. And you can just write with this pen. It goes. I did get this with a medium nib. I found that a tad bit too juicy, so I've now got a extra fine nib on it, which is lovely. And this is my like grab and go pen. Absolutely adore it. I don't have to worry about it getting damaged or wrecked or anything like that. This little string I put on here, it is starting to fall apart. Eventually I'll take it off and put something else there. I don't really use this string. Yeah, great pen. And it was good to get it like after those other two that were just a bit meh. This was, yeah, a winner. Then I got my first hand-turned pen. This one's from Just Turnings. Actually, all my hand-turned pens are from Just Turnings. This is the Minimus Salmon Mix. I think that's just his one. It is so pretty. And again, my phone's not doing it justice, sadly. So I got it with a 1.1 stub nib, but now I have a Bock double broad on it, which is beautiful. This is a rose gold nib, so it matches the pen really nicely. And it is a real joy to write with in this pen. We're not in focus, we're finding it hard. I also got this pen at the same time, another Just Turnings pen, but the blank is by Jonathan Brooks. It's a Brooks blank. And this is Earth Magic 2.0 in a matte finish. Again, it's not doing it justice. It is so pretty. Oh, that's better. Maybe I do it that way. So, so pretty. This one came with a fine nib. I think it was a Mr. Cypress fine nib, but I now have a extra fine Asvine nib on it, which works really well. Really, really well. And I'm currently using this pen. Yeah. I then tried my hand at getting some vintage pens. These aren't like vintagey vintage, but this is new old stock from the 80s. This is a Pilot Milano, I think it was called. It's such a fine little pen. It reminds me of the Mont Blanc Noblesque, but not that. This nib though is absolutely gorgeous, and it is such a fine, fine nib. I have written with this a few times. It does take, I've got the Pilot converter on it, which I don't mind. It came with an older styled one, but I don't mind that one being on it. The downside to this, it doesn't seal very well, so it dries out very quickly. So, yeah. My last pen for 2023 was my Waterman CF in Barleycorn. I love this thing. It is so pretty. You can see the Waterman kind of CF there, made in France. It's got a few other details, but it is so pretty. And this has a 18 karat nib on it. These nibs are amazing. There's a little bit of a wear, but all in all, it's not too bad. But yeah, this nib is absolutely amazing to write with. It is currently inked. The one thing I did fail on buying this pen is I didn't know the cartridges are hard to find. So I had to Frankenstein a cartridge. The International long ones some of them do fit, but they're too long for the pen body. So we had to do some situation here. This doesn't leak. I'm very proud of that. However, this pen did have a couple of leaking moments. I couldn't quite figure out if it was from around here or up here. There'd just be ink kind of everywhere. But at the moment, I put some a little bit of silicone grease just around here, and it seems to have kind of stopped that problem. So, and it hasn't leaked since then. Yeah, true gem of a pen. It's a Grail pen, even though I didn't know it was a Grail pen. If you see these and they come with cartridges, snap them up.